Charles Oliveira just made history at UFC 298, but he isn't satisfied just yet. On his quest to reclaim the lightweight championship title, Oliveira had to first face Beneil Dariush in the co-main event of UFC 298. Dariush was coming off another victory in his last fight and had been unstoppable lately with an impressive 8-fight win streak. Oliveira was up to the challenge though, destroying Dariush in the first round of their match by knockout.
Oh my goodness, Beneil is hurt bad. Dariush covering up. Oh, maybe not. It's over. It's over. Charles Oliveira.
This is an amazing moment for Oliveira, coming off of a really disastrous last year. He lost his lightweight title last year during UFC 274, but he didn't lose it in the octagon or against an opponent. He actually lost it to the scales when he weighed over 155-pound weight limit for the lightweight category. He weighed in 156, and even after being allowed to strip naked for the weigh-in, he was still half a pound over the limit.
155 and a half for Charles Oliveira.
And while still being stripped of his title, he was allowed to still enter the octagon and won his fight against Justin Gaethje by submission in the first round.
It's over. Oliveira's under the chin. Oh my goodness. Switches up the grip. He's going to go to sleep. Oh my goodness. That is going to do it. This dude right here, man. Charles Oliveira.
But if he wanted his title back though, he had to win his next match in UFC 280 against Islam Makhachev. But he ended up losing the fight in his first defeat in almost 5 years, and the gap between him and his lightweight title was growing bigger and bigger by the day.
He's got the arm triangle. Oh, this is
His first obstacle on his way back to getting a rematch against Makhachev was Dariush, who many had called the most avoided fighter in the UFC because of his win streak and hunger for a shot at the title. But after finishing business with his 20th finish in his career, Oliveira's sights are set solely on the rematch that will likely be his next fight.
Who's got the belt? He's got the belt, and I want to be a champion, so I have to go through him.
The rematch seems to be all but a certainty, with Dana White even saying in the press conference after the fight that he's excited to see the two face off again in the octagon.
I'm excited for him and Islam to fight again.
Many experts believe that Charles has a better shot against Makhachev in their eventual rematch, despite the fact that he lost his first one by submission. Makhachev doesn't seem too worried about Oliveira's calls for another go in the octagon, tweeting out last night a congratulations to the former champion, but also a reminder of his previous crushing defeat. Oliveira has continued to cement his legacy as one of the best UFC fighters of his generation, and he moves up to 4th place with the most wins with 22, the most finishes with 20, most submissions with 19, and also a nice payday record with the most awarded post-fight prize bonuses ever. But the only part of his resume that he has his eyes on though is becoming a 2-time champion. Oliveira has never been a stranger to adversity though since childhood, because at the age of 7, he was slowly losing his ability to move his legs, and doctors said he would become paraplegic in a few years. He was constantly bedridden, but besides these challenges, he still participated in sports as a child, and after 2 years recovered from the illness. A few years later, he was introduced to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which immediately caught his attention as he began training. His family would have to sell the street snacks and discarded cardboard to help fund his classes. With the announcement of the rematch probably coming this week, fans can't wait to see Oliveira put on a show in the octagon again. But if you want him to be a 2-time champ,